bums and outcasts to mainstream society. This generation emphasized sexual rights movement, drug use, jazz and bebop music, as well as free expression. Chaos and Ginsberg formed the core of the Beat generation. The word beat was thought to mean down and out or poor. Kerouac changed the meaning of this word. He defined the word as cool. He once quoted, "Beatitude, not beat up. You feel this in a beat, in jazz, real cool jazz." Music played a large part in free expression during the Beat generation. Jazz and bebop were the two main types of music that hipsters would listen to. Three musicians in particular that were popular during this time are Billie Holiday, Bob Dylan, and Charlie Parker. For example, Bob Dylan's song "The 2013" demonstrates how the Beat generation impacted society.
It's worth saving, and you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. By the times they are changing.
Jazz music was extremely popular. However, the transformation is often lost as known. The changes were fingers still in that Charlie Parker, also known as Bird, was a famous jazz saxophonist that began the transformation into bebop. He suffered from an addiction to heroin, which was very prevalent in the jazz scene at this time. Billie Holiday, also known as Lady Day, was a famous female jazz singer during this time as well. The short story, "The Day Lady Died in the Cool School," was dedicated to her.
The members of the Beat generation often wore everyday clothing that reflected the 1950s styles. The clothing was not meant to make a fashion statement in any way. They just chose to put together outfits that were generally comfortable and put together whatever they had at the time. For the women, they did not wear jewelry and often wore loose-fitted skirts, while men wore informal, comfortable suits with soft cloth caps, rather than business hats, which were popular at the time. One common Beat writer that would fit this description well is Richard Brautigan. On the cover of his book, Trout Fishing in America, you can see that Brautigan is casually wearing jeans along with a dressy top and a soft hat. The woman next to him, as you can see, is wearing a long flared skirt along with a coat that she casually added, and boots and a hat. At first, the members of the Beat generation began to experiment with drugs in order to enhance their creativity. This later resulted in the usage of drugs for pleasure. During this generation, they did not know the negative effects of drugs. Some of the commonly used substances they used was marijuana and alcohol. A Beat generation author that was known for their alcohol addiction was Jack Kerouac. In his book, The Dharma Bums, his fictional character, Ray, represented himself. He depicted his addiction through Ray's alcohol abuse. In October of 1969, Kerouac drank himself to death, and he was found in his bathroom by his wife, vomiting after he had just finished a bottle of whiskey and malt liquor.
Sexuality in the Beat generation contradicted the government standards. Conformity played a large role in this generation. Phoenix was thought to be outcast, which was not accepted by mainstream society. For example, Allen Ginsberg openly verbalized his sexuality in his poems. One poem in particular would be Hell. Not only did he demonstrate his homosexuality through his poems, but he also was a part of the sexual rights movement. Ginsberg openly had a love affair with Neil Cassidy along with other males. Also in the book The Dharma Bums by Kerouac, the characters participated in an orgy, justifying it to be a practice of Yab-Yab from the Buddhist religion.
A common theme that is found among the Beat generation is religion. Throughout their literature, the Beat generation have thrown their perspectives of religion into their poems and songs. For example, in Howl, Ginsberg reuses the reference to religion when he uses the term angel-headed hipster. In the footnote to Howl, he starts off by repeating the word holy and naming everything that he thinks is holy. Religion is also found in the Dharma Bums. On page 5 of the book, Kerouac makes a reference to the prayer by Saint Teresa. The book also makes reference to the Zen part of Buddhism, which the characters prefer over the traditional Buddhism.